Today I'm going to show you how to make a little dress for your clothespin doll. And they're real simple to make, these little dresses. Basically, just take a piece of felt, a piece of fabric, whatever you want to use. Now this, you can just make the pattern yourself. It's really just, if you take a piece of paper and you cut along the edge of the fabric, make this about 3 or 4 inches long. Actually, why don't we take out a ruler and I measure it for you. Okay. So this is actually for a clothespin doll a little more than 2.5 inches long at the top. Your sleeves are going to be a little more than 1/2 inch, so say about 3/4 of an inch. And then the length of the dress, the one I have here, is a little more than 2 inches, but you can pretty much make the length of the dress whatever you want. And I start with my fabric on the fold, because I don't like to have to do a lot of extra stitching. Because ultimately, if you cut it on the fold, all you have to do is cut out the little neck hole and just stitch along here, straight across, straight down, straight across, straight down, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then you end up with this lovely little doll dress. Here's another little doll dress, and you can see they're really cute. You know, the sewing makes it a little bit easier. I guess you could glue it, but I just go ahead and sew. So let me set this aside, and I'm basically, you know, I don't know how much experience you have with sewing, but you want to turn it because you want to stitch on the wrong side of the fabric. And then I'm going to take my little Sew Mini machine, which is really cool. Not quite sure if you can see real well up under here, trying to get my light source, but you would basically just go ahead and start your stitching here. Let me see if you can see how that's laid out. Yep, you can see how that's laid out pretty good. And in a minute we're gonna start sewing. Okay, obviously I forgot to plug in the sewing machine, and I just really have one of these little Janome mini machines. They're about $50, and if you're doing small arts and crafts, it's really easy to use. So I forgot to plug the cord in, but let me do that right now, and then we'll get started sewing on this little doll dress. Okay, remember, and I hope you can see this, but I've got the doll dress in, so I'm going to stitch this way and then that way, and then we'll show you all the magic that happens right after that. See if I can find a foot pedal here. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing. I hope you can see this. I know the light's not great, but I'll give it a best shot. Now you want to stop when you get to the armhole and basically let your needle stay all the way down in the fabric. Not sure if you can see that really good, but I'll try. We'll try to rig something here so you can see. Let the needle stay in the fabric. Raise that little presser foot and kind of turn your dress while it's still up in it with the needle in it, so that way you'll have one complete stitch. And I'll put the presser foot down again. Let me finish sewing here. Ooh, if I can get this light just right. Sorry about that. And then we'll just keep going straight. And we'll just do a little loosening here. If you've done any sort of sewing, I'm sure you know how to you know, just cut the edges of the thread, and then you have a nice neat little stitch for your doll's dress. Now do the same thing on the other side, and we'll do that really quickly to kind of show you. Remember, stop under the armhole. Oh, I'm sorry, it's so hard to see. Oh, okay, that works. And then lift up the presser foot, and then just angle it and just stitch straight down and across. Put the presser foot down? Yeah. lift up the presser foot. You're going to cut it, and here we'll just scoop this out of the way because we're done with the sewing machine. So now you have your little doll dress. And if you want, you can email me and I'll send you a copy of the pattern that I have that, you know, may work for you or not. Right now I'll be sending the patterns out if you email me, like, for free. I'll just send you a PDF, but, you know, hopefully eventually we'll get around to a whole complete package so you won't have to do so much work. Now I'm just going to cut right here a little neck hole for the doll. You don't need to be too perfect because you're going to fix this a little bit later. So now, ta-da, you have a little doll dress. And I'm going to take her little armhole out. Oh, by the way, you want to make sure you don't put the bottom peg on just yet if you're making these types of dresses, because it makes it a little difficult to deal with. Now, to get the dress on to the doll, as you can see, unless you want to just cut down more in the back. So now you got to turn your dress, your doll dress, inside out. I use a crochet hook because you can kind of catch the fabric, and just be gentle, take your time, because you don't want to tear the stitches that you just made in the dress, but it's kind of hard to get your finger through these little doll holes. And once you get the little arm part to come through, it can be a little tricky. Yeah, I've been doing this like a while now and it's still a little tricky. But yeah, you're going to turn your little dress inside out. Sorry, this is taking a while. Oh, okay, there. Now I've caught the little arm sleeve and I pull that out. And just keep fluffing it up until you get it, you know, all smoothed out and looking like a little arm, a little sleeve. Isn't that cool? And depending on the type of fabric that you use, you might have to like iron it because sometimes it get a little wrinkled in the creation process. And so I'll just pull that, hope you can see that, pull that little arm right back out. And let me see, get that in there. Oh, come on now. Any other day of the week I can do these like with my eyes closed, but obviously for the camera, whole different story. Okay, so we're gonna go with that for right now. And as you can see, bada bing bada boom, you have a cute little doll dress. Now, because you're using so little fabric, if you mess it up, just do another one. It's a lot easier to just redo it than to try to, you know, fix a bad one. So then just take your doll and just shove her, well, I shouldn't say shove her into her dress, but you just scoot it on. Sometimes you got to tug it down a little bit, give it a little help. Oh, I think, did I make this one a little too tight? No. Oh, sorry. Sometimes this happens, so you just have to cut it in the back a little bit so it opens up wide enough for your doll to fit. But it's okay because it's still going to look cool because you're going to close that seam up in the back anyway. So there you have a little doll dress. This is obviously the basics, and you'll probably want to decorate it and do a lot more interesting things to it. But now, as you can see, she has the cutest little blue dress. I love that. Yeah, and it's a little natty around the edges, but you can push it up a little bit, you know, and you get the neckline the way you want it, and then you just cover this with some ribbon, and you just fix the sleeves, and fix her arms, and fix her hair. I mean, there's a lot more work involved with these little clothespin dolls as you become more proficient at it, I guess that's the word to use. Like I said, in the back I had to cut it open because I sewed it a little too tight, but that's okay because you can just use your hot glue gun. You can glue that closed. You can put a big flower over it. Nobody's gonna see it. It'll look just darling. So that's how you make one type of little doll dress for your clothespin dolls. And once again, you can use felt, and I guess this almost looks like, I'm not really sure what shape this is, but that's basically the shape for the doll dress. And then you cut it out in felt fabric, which is okay, or you can use a regular fabric. And as you can see, they come out, the felt dresses are a little stiffer and have a little more oomph to them. And then the other dresses that you make out of fabric sometimes, like I said, you've got to iron these so they'll even out and look really nice. So that's my lesson for today on how to make one type of doll dress. And I've got a lot of other little doll designs that I'll get around to showing you. But that's all for now. So enjoy the day. Happy crafting.